This podcast is sponsored by Noor, My, Hellmans and Coleman's. Welcome to Khoollect on the Couch with Alissa Timoshkina. Having studied and worked in film for the past 12 years and gaining a PhD in film history, Alissa united food, wine and film through her supper club, KinoVino. Hello.
Hi.
Can you tell me a bit about yourself?
Sure. Well, first of all, thanks for having me. I
That's
absolutely love Khoollect and your podcast, so it's quite wonderful to be invited to do one with you. So, as you said, my background is in film.
Yeah.
And I've been kind of a film buff for as long as I can remember myself. And I've initially wanted to actually study to be a filmmaker, so I've always had this kind of need to create something. But for various reasons, I ended up going the academic way. So I started a film degree, an undergraduate film degree, which turned into an MA degree, and then somehow turned into PhD. I mean, I was really passionate about film, but it was never kind of my aim to become a professor of film studies or anything like that. So even though I was enjoying what I was doing, I always had this kind of nagging feeling at the back of my mind, like, is that really what I want to be doing? It doesn't really feel like it's kind of as creative enough. And while I was doing my PhD, I was lucky to have been living with my best friend, and we were renting a really lovely flat in East London, which had a really good kitchen. So kind of doing a PhD was a really lonely experience, just, me and my own waking up at like on the dot and starting to write and just writing the whole day, sometimes not even talking to anyone apart from my flatmate. So cooking became kind of a thing which I would need a break, so I'd go into the kitchen and start just kind of switching my brain off and start to experiment more. And again, having had a really lovely flat which kind of allows to host dinner parties, that was kind of my creative outlet to bring friends round. So like all of the Christmas and New Year's parties would be hosted at our lovely flat in Bethnal Green. And so kind of the film and food were living in me kind of in parallel for quite a while.
Yeah.
And then I think kind of pretty much thanks to social media, like the whole kind of food Instagram, wave is so huge right now.
Yeah.
So I got onto that kind of about 4 years ago. And again, it's so amazing to just, you make something in your kitchen and then you photograph that, and because it's a very specific kind of format and specific kind of community that you're addressing, it's quite easy to reach out and kind of make friends in inverted commas, but you actually do engage with people, and you virtually meet so many interesting people who kind of are on a similar journey to yours or are far more successful, but like serve as a huge inspiration. So I think the whole kind of Instagram, social media stuff was quite a big inspiration, quite a big kind of part of me considering the change of my career path.
So then what made you do the switch?
It's been quite gradual. I have to say, a few friends of mine who also had a background either in film or kind of cultural studies, or they switched into food, and one of such friends is Ola Hercules, and kind of we studied together and seeing her journey into something completely new, and kind of being so passionate and so dedicated to this new kind of career, and how well it's been, working for her. It's been a huge inspiration to me. And also kind of a few bloggers and Instagrammers that I just kind of borderline obsessed with, and seeing them do all that stuff made me really want to try it myself.
And did you find that there was a demand for it when you started doing KinoVino?
I figured that, there's definitely demand for like experiences in general, that people don't just want to go and eat or don't want to go and see a film, or it's something, it has to be something else, something on the kind of new level. And there's so much of kind of trying to merge different things, so kind of themed dining and themed food experiences. There's so many I mean, I haven't actually been, but I've read about like the ginger wine.
I've just done one actually.
Oh,
the Chamber of Flavour, Volume 2, I think it was, and it was incredible, really good. Yeah. But I love, the thing I like about KinoVino is that every event is unique. That you seem to have, you know, like you can't, you can go to one and then you can go to another one that's completely different.
Yeah.
And I really like that, and different types of cuisines as well, like each experience is different.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a key thing that, you can come as many times as you like, but you might have the same chef, but it's always going to be a different menu and, you know, a different theme, and to me it's quite important to make sure that each experience is completely unique, and people kind of feel like they're not just repeating the same stuff again.
And what's been your favourite one so far?
Oh, it's hard to like pick favourite. I think favourite, there's one kind of personal favourite that, you know, to me means quite a lot, or also favourite in terms of kind of how well it's done financially and kind of how much publicity it had, and so I think my probably personal favourite would have to be the one I've done in July, again with Ola Hercules, and it was a screening of Tarkovsky's Mirror.
Okay.
And to me it was really kind of almost kind of mystical how all different strands of my life came together in one night. Because I've met Ola when we were studying, and that was exactly the time when I discovered Tarkovsky, and seeing Mirror to me was really, I can still remember seeing the film for the first time, and it was almost like my view of the world has completely changed, and kind of my understanding of culture and film has really been influenced by that particular experience. And it's been my kind of dream and a challenge to do a KinoVino with that film, because there is no food in the film. It's such a poetic, complex film. You can't really say what the film is about.
Okay.
Definitely.
I was going to ask you because I've not seen it.
Yeah.
How would you?
Well,
the film about?
I mean, because I wrote my May thesis about the film, and at one point I literally have read every book in English and Russian there was to read about the film. So, and kind of generally, the film is appreciated as a memory of of a dying protagonist, and he's recollecting kind of the most significant episodes from his past, but also it's mixed with his dreams and kind of visions. So it's the most beautiful kind of sensual experience when you do the film. There's lots of poetry and classical music in it, and reference to Da Vinci art. So it's, you know, it's a real kind of, it's Tarkovsky's universe basically. So kind of to translate that into a meal was a real kind of challenge, and I always thought I would never do it. But then when Ola was developing a new recipe for a buckwheat ice cream,
wow.
It was again like a light bulb. I was like, that could be the connection, because the film is actually set, one of the main locations from the protagonist's memory is a buckwheat field. This is where he grew up, and this beautiful little, very kind of traditional Russian house is set in the field, buckwheat. So you do see a lot of buckwheat, but you don't actually realise that's the buckwheat we eat.
Right.
And I was like, that's it, that has to be the connection. And then kind of the more I thought about it, obviously the film is very much about the protagonist's mother, and this book is Mamushka, about the mother's recipes and kind of strong women. I was like, actually, it makes absolutely perfect sense to put those two together. And again, because I know Ola so well, we kind of got together, had some wine, we watched the film, and we're looking through Tarkovsky's books and diaries, and just kind of jotting down ideas of what we can do together.
It sounds so much fun.
It was so much fun, and it was such a kind of real, kind of intimate, creative process, which at first started as just kind of a challenge, crazy idea, but then kind of the more we thought about it, and it really made sense. And the whole night just went so well, and everyone loved it. And
so what's been your biggest learning curve, you know, organising and running the summer clubs?
Well, it's hard work, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it all looks so beautiful and wonderful on Instagram when you see other people hosting, you know, amazing dinner parties, but then when you actually realise you have to be up at 7, drag lots of heavy boxes with props and food and move furniture. I mean, it's really like physically demanding, and I've like on quite a few occasions I've really hurt my back really badly doing it. So it's not as glamorous, you know, as Instagram shows it.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, that's kind of was a bit of a kind of awakening experience. Like, oh, it's not just all pretty tablescapes and lovely pictures of the food. It's actually physically really hard. And
can you relax? I mean, when the event's going on, can you feel like you can kind of?
No, I think to me there's a really amazing point when you bring out the dessert, and you know that's, you know, there's no more dangers of like messing up the service. You know, it's all done now. You can actually just sit down, have a glass of wine, and still see people enjoy themselves. So to me, that's kind of the best moment when, because otherwise I'm constantly on alert and I can't really just. I mean, hopefully I give out. Now people listen to me, oh gosh, that's.
No, I felt you were very relaxed. The one that I went to, I thought you seemed very in control.
Yeah, and I love this whole kind of. When ages ago, I used to do ballroom dancing as a kid.
Wow.
And our coach, would always say, like, dancing is like observing a swan swim, because at the top or the surface is like this beautiful, graceful creature just moving very, slowly. But then under the water, like feet really working like dirty water. And it's like that's how it feels. You go into the kitchen, it's like complete madness, and then you come out and you have to be like all cool and pretend it's all like really easy and fun. But it's hard work. I think to me that was a real kind of revelation.
This week we're talking a lot about like New Year's dinner parties. Can you give us any tips for people who might be hosting a dinner party for New Year?
Yeah, well, I think hosting a dinner party after having done KinoVino, like doing private events, like for my friends, is pure bliss.
Okay.
I used to stress out about them as well, but now kind of having this kind of two different levels of. So I really would say just have fun with it, and to me, kind of the best moment is planning, kind of doing the research and brainstorming and planning the event and the menu. So I think really, if you can, just give yourself space to like sit down with lots of magazines, and they don't even need to be food magazines. You can just get whatever really inspires you and just kind of almost make a mood board for the whole event. And so I would say that kind of would be a really fun starting point. But also in the night, to me again, it's quite fun to kind of allow yourself to be creative. Again, you don't need to kind of plan everything to the detail. As long as you have like a general kind of mood board and general idea of how you want your night to look, then you can just, once you get there, you just kind of be creative again and kind of have the second wave of experiment. And I wouldn't say that much with food. Obviously with food you need to be a bit more precise of what you're going to do, but in terms of kind of designing the table or designing the whole room, just kind of be a bit more adventurous and let yourself just kind of experiment.
I find whenever I host dinner parties, like you can do as much preparation as you can do, but I tend to always pick food that you have to take out at the end, before you're serving, and there's that awkward maybe like 40 minutes or half an hour where you're in the kitchen trying to to finish all the food, and you're leaving all your guests, and there's that worry that you're kind of not entertaining. Do you have any tips of kind of, or is it just like chill out, you're gonna be fine?
No, I think it's probably good to think about your guests and kind of what kind of food you're going to be serving. And what I mean is, like, do people actually know each other really well? If you have, like, your closest group of friends who will be, okay to either help you in the kitchen, or, if you're gone for a bit, there won't be an awkward silence. Or so I think if you have a really kind of small, intimate gathering of people who are kind of familiar with each other and are happy to, like, just chill out and whatever, then I think you can kind of go a bit more elaborate and plan maybe like a proper, plated meal where you have to go to the kitchen and cook something and bring it out of the oven on time. But if it's more of a bigger kind of event where people don't know each other that well, I think the host has to be there all the time. So maybe a more kind of tapas, canapé style meal where you just prepare everything, and then there is a few kind of hot or warm dishes that you need to bring out. It's fine, but you're not going to be there in the kitchen kind of looking at the time and being stressed about it. I think that's kind of
Well, thank you for your tips. So what have you got planned for next year?
I've got quite a lot of stuff planned. It's actually quite surprising to think I almost have an event planned until September.
Next September?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I'm doing one a month, so I still want to keep them quite kind of exclusive and people to actually get excited and look forward to another KinoVino, as opposed to being, like fast food. You kind of can pick any date and there'll be a KinoVino by default. So I'm trying to keep it kind of structured like that. And that kind of means that, I need to plan quite far in advance. And it's been really amazing. I mean, I really can't complain about kind of the exposure and the interest that I'm getting for the project, and it's so kind of rewarding, and I still can't believe it for most of the time. But I've had lots of really amazing chefs getting in touch saying they'd like to.
Wow, that's so good.
Yeah, it's been incredible, all kind of approaching a chef who I probably a year ago would have not dared to get in touch with, and they'd say, yeah, I'd love to, you know, I've been waiting for you to invite me to, you know. So it's been really incredible. So I have quite a few things planned. I mean, the dates are still kind of up in the air, but the one that I already have kind of penciled down, and actually tickets are on sale already, is in Beirut, like Lebanese themed night with Bethany Katie. And I've had her food recently. She's done a pop-up in London, and it's absolutely like mind-blowing. I was completely like, wow, this KinoVino is going to be really special. And we're going to do kind of championing female talent from Beirut. So the film will be by a female director, and it's a very kind of feminine. It's a film called Caramel. I don't know if you've seen it. It's been in Cannes. It's kind of one of this kind of new wave of Lebanese cinema that's been getting quite a lot of attention recently. So it's set in a beauty salon, and it's all about women. It's a more kind of light-hearted, you know, kind of joyful film, because, you know, when you think of Lebanon, it's always the war, and, you know, it's a bit of a heavy kind of message, but we decided to just kind of play something else and just kind of have fun with it. And the one after that is again a more kind of light one. It's going to be a Bollywood themed event with Romy Gill.
Lovely.
Super excited about that, because her food again is just, you know, so incredible. I love, you know, tasting something and not just saying, oh, that's quite nice, but actually like, wow, that's something I've never tasted before. Food. So these are the two that are nailed.
Great.
So I'm super excited about that.
Oh, well, good luck with them.
Thank you.
And thank you for coming in for our Collect on the Couch.
That's a pleasure.